with their instinctive and very intuitive side. Therefore, I will see to her ambition. We will get the well-matched coordination and the chain attack. So otherwise, we are playing chapter 1, which is an abrupt landing, and the abrupt landing chapter says that we are basically shipwrecked, and the moment we get back our conscious, we feel a warm hand holding our mouth, rendering us mute, because Ereya here, she found us, but she also found 2 other unconscious members of the crew or of the force. But also there are 2 tier 1 creatures between us and our allies, and in this case our allies are incapacitated, which is why they have these token. And the quest is based, we have a special end condition for this quest, and the quest ends if you flee the combat or run off the field with alive mortals, or when both hostiles are dead and both allies are healed. So, since I want this to be a little bit more entertaining, also for myself, I will try to heal both of them and try to keep the gargoyles either out of interfering, or maybe I will manage to destroy the gargoyles. So with this setup I already prepared, let me just give a general look up at this all again, and then let's start with the first turn of this, once again, narrative play. Before we jump right into the first turn, I forgot to mention that in this mission, Ereya has one scheme tile we are not looking at. We turn it face down, and the mission originally states you can read it if you obtain 6 victory points at the end of the quest. It might help you in your next quest, so do your best. The problem is there are no victory points to be gained. So I will read the scheme nevertheless, if regardless of how many victory points we scored. And I will just want to have a little fun game. So with this all set, let's start the first turn of the of the expedition or of our small party. And for this, I will activate. I think it might be a good idea to activate Ereya first. And with her, I will try to disable the gargoyles here and here to increase our chance of surviving all this. And for that, I believe it might be time for Blinding Light, which has the small circle, 16-inch ranges. And who I want to save first, I believe the Citadel Guard might be the most useful one. So, with this, Ereya activates. She will use a walk action up to 5 inches. So, she comes up to here. And as said, she will cast Blinding Light at this gargoyle with a small template, provided that she is within 16 inches, which is clearly the case, as you can see here, with about 12 inches. So the Blinding Light spell has a strike value of equal to stamina, and the gargoyle will use a dodge activation to try to avoid it. So let's see. The gargoyle rolls a 7, which is just beneath its agility of 8, and since Ereya does not score any critical hits, this is disregarded, and the gargoyle moves 2.5 inches closer to Ereya. So next, since we are still in range, even closer now, Ereya will once again try to cast Blinding Light. Before that, she will move 5 inches back next to our swashbuckler. The gargoyle will try to evade it again. Let's see what will happen. This time the gargoyle rolls a 9, therefore the dodge is not successful. And we can see what Ereya rolled. She rolled an 8 and a 12, which is both enough. And with this, the gargoyle receives the blinded state. Excuse me. So, this is quite helpful, because now let me just take a quick look once again. Here are the rules. The blinded state construct. Here we are. A model in this state has no line of sight, cannot perform any action other than assist, dodge, or nothing. So, this gargoyle is basically out of action right now, which might be a chance for the Thenran swashbuckler with a speed of 6 to get into contact. Here we are. Make a dash activation, since the gargoyle is already out of activations. This is beneficial, so it can't avoid the attack. Since it's only since we use the dash action only one dice rolled, hitting at a 15 or less, it's a 3. He is a rogue and a warrior. With the rogue class, I believe he is now allowed to make a agility check, I believe. I will just grab the rules once more. Let's see where we have our classes. Combat arts, states. No, still states, traits. Combat Arts, come on. I know you're somewhere around here. Alright, let me just put down the tablet I'm recording for a moment to get two hands. Just quickly flipping through the book. Here we are, classes. And we need the rogue class, which is here. Once per activation, on at least one successful hit against the target, a rogue may perform an agility roll. If successful, the rogue hit gains knockdown. So we make an agility roll. We have a successful hit. And 18 is not a successful agility roll despite the agility of 3. Therefore, the gargoyle is still standing. But we still are allowed to try to wound the gargoyle. We have a toughness of 12. The gargoyle has an armor of 5, therefore a 7 or less. With a 20, this is not enough. So, next we are still able to attack. And we will do that since both of these have the engage state. This time we will try to attack with the short sword, which has a strike value of 2 because of our stamina. And we will attack. 16 and 19 would be both above the offense of 15, but since we have the dual wield trait skill, a model with this skill can replace a shield weapon provided both hands a reach of 1 or less to end it. The model may reroll a single melee roll, and it must choose which weapon power and strike value apply during the action. So since we only have 2 short swords, it's easy, and we are allowed to reroll 1 die. With a 5, we have at least 1 hit thanks to the reroll, and once again a 7 or less. It's a 5 again, which is enough to wound this gargoyle and take it out of action. So, this was the first activation or the first turn. We successfully used all our might to destroy the first gargoyle. So I will prepare the gargoyles next turn and let's see what happens. The gargoyle activates. It will use a run action according to its hostile card to run towards Ereya with the model with the lowest hit points of 1. The Swashbuckler has hit points of 2. This will trigger a reaction of Ereya herself and of us as the Thunder and Swashbuckler. We will just dodge 3 inches closer to hopefully help out. And Ereya, on the other hand, will once again try to cast the Blinding Light spell with the small template at the gargoyle. And just to give you a perspective, we are here talking about 9 inches between these two models. So Ereya needs a 15 or less. It's a roll of 3. Here we are. And with this, the gargoyle once again gains the blinded condition. Here's the token. And as we have seen previously, with this, the gargoyle is not allowed to do anything else than dodge, do nothing, and resist. And the next activation, the gargoyle will activate. Since it says that the blind model is not allowed any other actions, I believe that is still allowed to move. Therefore, the gargoyle will move 5 inches and another 2.5 for its dodge skill. Ereya will also use a dodge, and the Thunder Swashbuckler does so too. So, first the reactions, 2.5 inches of Ereya. I believe it's about here. Then the Thunder Swashbuckler will go 3 inches up to here, and the gargoyle will do 2.5 inches up to here. So, since the whole action is down here at the bottom, I will immediately put down the activation points. Okay, for the stratagem, by the way, I assume, or last turn, her Ereya didn't use any, and this time she will use Spiritual Paragon to give all models with the Hellion League +4 to their moral value, so basically only buffing herself, not us. The Gargoyle gets 2 reactive markers. And does Ereya have any offensive spell? She has only Smite with a large template, which could be placed close to the Gargoyle and not hitting us. And let's try to stay in the spirit of the game, because I believe that this game is quite easy for us. So Ereya will walk 5 inches up to here. Let's see if she is within range to cast her spell at the incapacitated allies. With 16 inches, we are. So now with these 16 inches, she will use the Curative Miracle spell. The target model regains all hit points. In addition, the weakened, bleeding, crippled, and poisoned state are removed from the model. This spell has a strike value of 1, therefore only 1 die. This is a 3, and with that, the Citadel Guard is completely healed, but she is still down. This was her first activation. Now let's continue. She will continue with 5 inches, or rather she will run her 10 inches to hopefully be able to cure the Flame Shaper in the next turn. This leaves us with the Gargoyle. We will activate and walk into contact with the Gargoyle, who will also react by dodging, since we will try to attack it. So let's see, we have an offense of 15, the Gargoyle has an agility of 8. The Gargoyle once again managed to roll a 6 and to evade our otherwise successful hits. With this, the Gargoyle will dodge around us, and we will once again get in contact with the Gargoyle and attack. The Gargoyle, as previously, tries to dodge. The 16 is not enough to dodge, therefore we can see what we have rolled. Since this is not a confrontation roll. The 20 is definitely not enough, but the 7 is enough. But since we are dual wielding, we are allowed to reroll. And with a 4, we have 2 successful hits at the Gargoyle with a 4 and a 7. Since we have a successful hit, we are allowed to make an agility roll to knock down the Gargoyle. With the 10, we are beneath our agility roll. So with this, the Gargoyle is also knocked down. And I believe one effect of knockdown is that it halves the armor. And please excuse me that I have to look up quite a few rules this game. Here we are too far. Immobilized, blinded, crippled. Okay. Where is it? Here, knockdown becomes crouched. Becomes a crouched state. And now we go to the states, and crouched cannot make speed and armor value is half, and attack value is 1. Let me just try to get it into focus for you guys. Here, model speed and attacks value are halved, and its attack become 1. Crouch mode cannot give the engaged state. So since the Gargoyle now is knocked down, its armor value is half, so armor 5 becomes armor 2 and 2.5. I will round it up to 3, therefore our toughness of 12 minus armor 3, 9 or less to wound. 17 and a 12, both is not enough to harm the Gargoyle. So with this, let's continue. We have a few models now active, which are V3. And we have one gargoyle still remaining who is no longer blinded. Actually, no, sorry, I think he is blinded until our, since it's an enchantment. It is an enchantment, right? Sorcery spell. Yeah, and sorcery spells, if I remember correctly, last at least one turn. The gargoyle can do nothing, assist, or dodge, and in this instant it will dodge, which will allow us to make an attack roll. Let me think, she moved there and then she ran. The gargoyle is no longer blinded because she cast it as a reaction. So, blinding token gets away, and with this, the gargoyle has other options. And the other options is attacking us, for example, while we will try to dodge its attack. Ereya has the clairvoyance ability, so she's allowed to react even if a model is not within her line of sight, but within her awareness, which is the case since she has an awareness of 11. And here we are still within, let me see, 9 to 10 inches. So, still within her awareness. We will try to dodge. Ereya will once again try to cast Blinding Light as a reaction, and the gargoyle will attack. So, Blinding Light, it's a 10. This is successful, so the gargoyle will be blinded. Usually we would first do the reaction steps, and this would immediately cancel out the gargoyle's activation of attacking us. But since I will want to try and make this at least interesting, I will ignore this, and I will, despite the original rules of the gargoyle not allowed to attack anymore because it is blinded, I will allow the gargoyle the attacks, and us therefore making the dodge in an attempt to evade the attacks. With an 8, we successfully dodge, and this is great because otherwise the gargoyle would have scored 2 hits. So, the gargoyle not allowed to attack us anymore. We are dodging 3 inches away. And now the gargoyle, still focusing on the model with the least wounds, since it is not engaged anymore, it will walk up to Ereya and then we'll use the dodge action to get 2.5 inches closer again. And this will trigger our reaction. We will dodge 3 inches towards it, and Ereya will also spend her second reaction to dodge a little bit closer to the Citadel Guard since she is revived. And now let's get immediately at the third turn of the Hellion League. It will begin with the Citadel Guard standing up and using a run action to run 6, 7, 8 inches to oppose the gargoyle. Ereya will activate. From her current position, is she within 16 inches? Let's have a look. Yeah, I would say these are about 13 to 14 inches, so definitely within reach. Therefore, she will turn, spend her activation, and cast once again Creative Miracle. Let's see. Within 19, this is not enough, but she just remember she has the Vitalist class, can cast healing spells on allied models that are not incapacitated. Okay, since the Flame Shaper is still incapacitated, she has to roll. She also has the Mage skill. When casting a spell, Mage may spend unspent activation point to roll any number of die. And I will use the Mage spell to spend her other activation to cast once again Creative Miracle, or reroll it. And this time it's a natural 1. Therefore, the Flame Shaper is cured 2, or healed. She is still down. And now we will activate. Since we are with 7 inches outside of reach, our short sword has only 1 inch reach. We will spend our activation to dash and attack the gargoyle. We have, because of the dash action, only 1 die. It's a 16, which is above our offense of 15, but we still are dual wielding, so now we have a 7. We will make an agility roll to knock it down. With a 4, we are successful, and the gargoyle is knocked down into the crouch state. Its armor is once again half to 3, therefore 9 or less, as 17 is not enough. We will activate again, try to attack the gargoyle a second time. I believe I forgot to give the gargoyle activation points. I will just rectify this, and the gargoyle will not dodge since we failed miserably. Now, with our second attack, the gargoyle will try to dodge. A 19 is not enough, a 2 and a 3 is enough for us to hit the gargoyle. And since the gargoyle is... okay, it would have dodged, it would have stand up. So now we will try to knock it down again. With a 9 it is enough, so I can leave the token where it is. Once again, a 9 or less. And this time with a 4 it is enough to destroy this gargoyle. And we have revived all of our allies. We have destroyed all of the hostiles. And let me just have a look what our scheme card is. Let me just get it. And our schemed card is fierce as fire, immovable as a mountain. We receive 1 victory point for wounding an enemy model in reaction. We do not have done this, I believe. Therefore, we do not gain any additional victory points, I believe, or maybe we can use this card in our next chapter. Let me just get the group together for a party shot, as I always do for my little Let's Plays, and get right into my after action report. So, what do I think about this first chapter of the Trials of Ereya? I will think this is quite an easy quest. We have a really powerful healer. So she alone has a recruitment points of 23, I believe. And with the blinding spell I discovered the last time I played with the Hierophant, this is a really powerful spell. She does not need to be offensively, and with her creative spells and the reach of 16 inches, I was pretty sure that she will be able to heal up the 2 allies, and from this point onward it will be far more easier against the 2 other against the 2 tier 1 hostiles. Because of the blinding light, as we have seen, the hostiles are basically unable to attack. And the Thenran Swashbuckler, I think, was a fun piece to include in this quest, simply because the Helen League is quite defensively, as seen with her creative spells, and we already have seen in a few other plays with the Citadel Guard. And I wanted to be a little bit more interesting in this mission, or in maybe the whole narrative campaign of Trials of Ereya. Therefore, we have our Thenran Swashbuckler. And sadly, this is so far the only chapter about the Trials of Ereya. I would hope that the people from our free company will bring out the second chapter, so that we can continue with this little party. Maybe also get some clarification about fierce as fire, immovable as a mountain this time around. What it is about the quest scheme card, and here are some minor critiques. Sorry, minor, not major. Minor critiques. The first one is that the quest is not clearly written. As I said at the start of the game, it says that we are allowed to look at the scheme card if we scored 6 victory points. I will assume that we have done that because we have cleared both objectives. We have revived both of our allies, and we destroyed both gargoyles, assuming each reviving and each destroying of gargoyle would provide 2 victory points. We would have scored 8. Yeah, so this is not clear, and also the mission says take one of Ereya's scheme cards, and it is not stated if these are the general Hellion League schemes or if she has some special scheme cards. Yeah, and also another last thing, which is really a tiny detail. I would really love if Free Company would provide. I want to for the motives. I want to protect her at all costs, and I will see to her missions. Just similar beautiful cards for Faithful Companion and Well Matched Coordination as upgrade cards, so that a model gets the Protector or the Chain Attack skill. Because as you know, I love the cards and I love to put the upgrades next to them. And as you can see here, this time I didn't put any upgrades next to them because there were no cards. I would be really happy if they hear this and do this actually. I think it can be done in a similar way as they did with the new cards for Northern Wind. And they did this because there was a mistake in the production, I think, if I remember correctly, where they had no cards printed for the how are they called, the spiritual dog and the cat. Please don't hate me that I do not remember their names. I'm just looking them up right now for the Nekomata and Komainu cards, because they just released them as a PDF, or they could do that in a similar way as um, the hostile cards for the factions of the Hellion League and the Emperor of Soga. Please, Free Company, if you hear this, I would be really happy if you do that. Then I could print them out and just put the 2 special upgrades for the Trials of Ereya next to the miniature the next time I am able to play that and do the second chapter. So I've rambled long enough. I hope you have enjoyed this relatively quick Let's Play, and I hope I see you next time.